how to turn this pretty messy data into a beautiful table and then a graph on your Excel. So let's start by writing the different measurements down the side. So these were my independent variables. These were the things that I chose to change. So in my experiment I chose to use different amounts of thrust on my rocket. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to go 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500. Now at the top of this I want to name what it was. So the thing I was changing was the force, or specifically the thrust, because thrust is a type of force. And this is measured in newtons, so I'm going to write that here. I'm going to go thrust and newtons, which is a capital N. I could write out newtons if I wanted to, but we'll just keep it short and sweet here. Okay, now I did 5 different tests for this. So I'm going to write the numbers 1 to 5 across the top, and the last one is going to be the average of these 5 numbers, but we won't worry about that yet, but we've just put that there to be ready for later. Okay, the next bit is a little bit time consuming, but I'm just going to type each of these numbers where it's supposed to go. So these ones all belong with 100, so I'm going to write them across the top here, and then the next one goes along there, and you get the picture, you just keep going. So let's see how good my typing is. This might take a little bit. You can always fast forward through this bit if you want to. 31.6. Okay. We're almost halfway there. Can hardly read my writing. And then okay, so now I've got all my data in the table. Notice how every number that I've put in my table, including the thrusts, I haven't put any units on them, and that's on purpose. I've done that purposefully because otherwise Excel can't actually understand that it's numbers. It thinks it's letters, and then it can't make a graph. It needs to think it's numbers. So I don't put the N on these, and I don't put the meters on these, because that's what these numbers are, is that this is the maximum height that my rocket reached. So I'm going to say maximum height rocket reached. And that'll be really similar to what you write. In fact, you could pretty much write the same thing. And it was measured in meters. Okay, to just tidy up my table, I'm going to highlight all of these, because all of these things are to do with the maximum height. So I'm going to merge these cells. Ooh, look how pretty it looks now. It's all in the center. And then just because I'm really into making things look pretty, I'm going to do the same with that there. And now everything's looking pretty good. I just need to calculate my averages. Now you could do this with a calculator. You could add your 5 numbers together and push equals and then divide by 5, or you can use the quick handy little Excel trick and go equal, start typing the word average, and it comes up with average. And see how it's got little brackets? Inside those brackets I want these 5 numbers, but I don't have to type them in. I just select the numbers that I want and go enter. And this is the average. Now I could do that again 4 more times, or if I'm really good at Excel, I just look at this box and I see that little square on the side. See how my mouse changes from like a white cross to a black cross? Just pull it down. It does all the different calculations. So that one is those 5 numbers, that one is those 5 numbers, so on and so forth. So I've got all my averages there. I now have an absolutely beautiful table. We might just do one more thing. We're just going to add some borders to it. Look how snazzy that looks. Now I can actually take this table, I can copy it, and I can take it across to OneNote and paste it in, and look how beautiful it looks. Yeah, it does some weird formatting here, but we won't worry too much about that. But see how my table just looks fabulous. I'm very happy with my table. One more thing we might do, just to make our table extra perfection, let's get rid of that one. See how some of these have a decimal place and then some don't, and then some have 2. I want them to all look the same, so I'm going to select all my numbers, and under number there's these little things, and oh, it just made lots and lots of numbers. I want to make them all the same, so that's making them all the same. I can give them more, I can give them less, I can give them heaps, I could give them like none, but I want just that one because it kind of matches what was over on this table. And now I have the most beautiful, perfect table in the world, and I get an 8.